What's up, guys? Welcome to the dungeon. As always, let me know if you have strange echo or something annoying that usually happens when I start the live stream. Is everything okay? Audio check, let me know. Can you hear me? Audio is good. Perfect. Okay. Let me set up something and I'm with you. "30 seconds. Again, if you hear something strange, let me know. Because I'm opening the chat so I can read you. Okay, nice. So, if everything is still good, let's talk about the plan. What we are going to do tonight. So, if everything goes fine, we can do some memory scaling since I've prepared a nice profile and I'm doing a mem test. Now you're going to see nothing special, but a nice profile at 2000 megahertz fabric, so 4000 megahertz memory. And we can play a bit, we can go a bit higher since I tried up to 2100 megahertz, but it was unstable. But we can try anyway to play a bit in that. And we can go up and down with the frequency and do some benchmark and see a bit the memory scaling. Then I will do a separate video with a proper testing with a lot of average, and you will see it in detail. But now to show you the impact of the memory. And then, well, now I have the 5800X, but I have the other two. If we want, we can swap CPU anytime. And then we can pick one and we can do some liquid nitrogen. Or if you want, we can set up this Zen3, make some benchmark and try with the Intel i9 10900K and liquid nitrogen that is already prepared to see if we can match and at what frequency. With that one I can play World of Warcraft at 7 GHz, so we can do whatever you want. Eski, thank you very much appreciated. So I don't know, now I can show you what is running in my desktop. So as you can see, we have 2000 megahertz clock speed of the fabric, and of course 4000 megahertz memory with C16. It's a profile that I made earlier. I did some subtimings, tertiary timing, so it's complete, but there's still a lot of work to do, so I have to spend more hour, and then maybe I can go below 50 nanoseconds. So it's a good profile, but it needs to be refined. So we can gain more out of this. I'm using the memory of the yesterday, so the Team Extreme T-Force, the ARGB. Nice memory. It's rated 3600 MHz C14, and it costs like 165 euro. So it's a nice memory kit, not budget, but not expensive like many other models. So it's a good kit, by the way. Yes, now I have the 5800X, since it's a very nice, I think is a middle ground between the cheap one and the big monster of yesterday. And I think in gaming doesn't really change much between the monster and the small one. So, but if you want, we can change. But the thing is that I have this profile with this CPU, and I know that I can show you 200 megahertz of FLCK. So I didn't have time to test the other two. See, I didn't shave myself even, so, and I didn't cut my hair, so I might get my hair cut in the fan, so it's very dangerous. Anyway, so what do you say? We do some benchmark. We can try to push a bit more the frequency of the memory. I was thinking to do some World of Warcraft benchmark since it's a high frame rate game, and see the memory scaling going up and down. I don't know if it was misreporting, but well, I think if we overclock the FCLK, probably the L3 maybe impact the L3. I don't know. Honestly, I didn't notice. So as you can see, it seems stable. Well, 5 minutes is early to say that it's stable, but I think we are in the good way. I tested this profile before and I was running like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, it was still doing okay. I don't have any funks on the memory. I think I'm running, well, I enter into the BIOS so you can see it. It's a nice one. And is made almost with all the voltage on auto. So I was keen to try this profile since it's a good one, not extreme, but it's something that doesn't need too much tweaking. So even if you're not practice with the memory tuning, it's an easy thing to do. So I left most thing on auto. So to doing that, I'm using the latest beta BIOS. I was a bit scared since usually ASUS and beta BIOS, the first couple of release before a new release of CPU is messy and but mostly with cold temperature. But this sometimes I have some errors that I have like 0.7. I have to do hit reset a couple of times and then hit restart. So there's some weird thing going on with this BIOS. It's not stable 100%, but it's nice. So okay, as I told you, let's see what I did. Well, I set the DOC profile with this memory kit. Usually when I start tuning the memory, I do okay, default XMP or DOCP, restart. I set everything here, so frequency FCLK, restart again. I do a lot of restart. It's important because the memory needs to train the timing and the secret hiding timings that you cannot have access to. But it's important to do a lot of restart and let the memory, the motherboard train the memory. This is very, very important. Sometimes you may fail if you don't do that. So maybe you do everything correctly, but failing to restart the memory a lot, to restart the motherboard a lot, it may give you some failure that is a pity, because if you set everything correctly, you need to do the restart. Okay, so 1.45 is the default voltage of the memory, so it's completely safe for daily use. See, I'm not even running a fan, so this is a safe voltage. Everything on auto, and it's working. So see, everything. Usually when I try to push, then we can push for a higher FCLK. I have to tune those voltage like 0.6, like this. Usually, this is a setup that is good to push higher FCLK, but I don't need that now, so I left it at auto since it's working. So okay, secondary timing, just if you want to see that again, nothing really tight, not loose, so 16, 66, 16, 34, 50. Here the secondary timings are not the lowest possible, since there's a lot much to tweaking about, especially the FC. We can go down a bit. The tertiary, secondary, tertiary are tight, but not too tight. And again here I left everything on auto and it's fine. So I can set it manually, but I didn't want to tinker too much to show you something that was that you can replicate without spending hours of fine tuning. So okay, so the thing that I'm going to do now is we can try World of Warcraft, the Gryphon RAM benchmark, and then I can go down, up and down with the memory, and we can see how is the gain in 1% lows, in the average, and I may try, I don't know, to run one stick, because some people want to buy only one stick of 16 gigabytes, and this is a big impact, but we can play a bit, and then we can do some extreme if you want to see that. Ciao Roberto. Okay, with 4 stick, but I have a lot of stick here, so we can all good B die, so we can try that later. So, okay. I'm going to start World of Warcraft. So we can see in action how good Zen3 plus high-speed memory is going to work. Keep in mind that yesterday we was like around 200 and something FPS on average, 135 1% low, and what was that? 110 more or less 0.1% lows. So we're going to try now with this CPU at default, but the memory nicely tuned, and we see if we, I bet it's a 10% increase at least, but time will tell. Give me a second, I'm starting World of Warcraft, so when it's done I will show you what I'm doing. I have a, well, you can see that the 2080 Ti, Crosshair 8. Again, the memory is the Team Extreme T-Force ARGB, rated 3600 C14, so a nice kit, not a super expensive, but a nice kit. Again, if you want performance, you have to pay a bit. Then I will do some review as well with the ballistic, since they are pretty nice memory too.
Army is pushing hard into Terragard's
definitely worth considering, since BDI are nice, are the best currently, but the ballistic usually, and the BDI, you need to be lucky with the BDI, because some kit are not that lucky and you don't reach the clock that you want to have. But the ballistic, they have like a very high quality. All the kit that I tried, I think I've tried 5 or 6 kit of ballistic, the quality was perfect in every kit I've tried, so there's no luck. You buy the ballistic, you'll get the result. So, and the impact in performance is not so distant to the BDI, and they are a bit easy to set as well. No, the memory here is 2000 because it's double data rate, DDR. So you have to take this value and multiply by 2. So 4 gigahertz memory, C16, 16. Okay, the TRFC is 312. Usually we can run at 240, 260, so there's a lot of room for improvement here. Okay, let's start.
Admiral's favor, friend.
Same route as yesterday. Unfortunately, I cannot put the clock speed here, since I think we need to wait after Barner Beta or a software that actually can give us the stats. So I don't know if the CPU is boosting at 5 GHz, if it's not boosting at all, I don't know. I can only see the FPS, that is pretty dope. No, I'm not trying to sell in ballistic, but I like ballistic because they are dirty cheap, and really you can tune it without worrying about the luck. For me, luck about component is something very real, since for extreme overclocking you have to try a CPU or a memory stick, and if it's not good enough you have to take another, and it's a mess. And if you know that the result is guaranteed, at least for me, is a big deal. Can even a Ryzen 3 do 2000? Well, I'm doing it. Stock locks? What do you mean by stock locks? Now the CPU is at default, so I didn't touch the CPU at all. So the CPU is at default speed, no manual overclocking, only the memory. And so far, we are not having a super nice result. Lower actually as yesterday. Maybe it's the CPU. We will see. This is the 5800X. Actually, is performing worse than the small one, than the 5600X. Then we will see hardware under info, and we can check the maximum clock. So honestly, this CPU now is performing worse than the other two. This is a bit crazy. Yes, yesterday was a bit tiring. Long day. So now we are having more or less the same performance of the 5600X. So 196, a bit lower on the 1% low. This is a bit crazy. Let's do it the other way.
We will not falter. Keep your wits about you out there.
No, because when I hit the command slash time test 1, it enters like in a benchmarking mode. So when I type that command, all the weather and all the the variable of the game, NPC as well, some NPC at least, goes out. So I can repeat this exact benchmark in the same exact route with no variables. So it's the same every time. So it's the internal benchmarking tool of World of Warcraft. A bit primitive and not well made, but it's pretty accurate since, well, now I think I did thousands of times and it gives you the exact result every time. So one time I tried like 10 times straight, the same flight route, and it was like accurate at 0%. So it's a nice way to benchmark World of Warcraft, at least in open world. Then dungeon, ride, another story. I didn't see the video today of tech deals. I follow them, but I didn't see that. So what was that about? My R7 behaves strangely. Only comes with 2 cores at 4.5, the rest the core don't even hit. Gaming on light AVX. Maybe, because it's something that I saw here as well, but maybe it's something that is the tool that is reporting the speed not accurate. So it may be that. Because sometimes now I don't have accurate reading, and if I was looking to the hardware info wasn't accurate either because of, I'll show you. If I use hardware info now, so I'm running a game, look, effective clock, it seems that we are running like in first gear, so I think there's something wrong with the BIOS or the sensor, so I don't think this is very accurate. Yes, hardware info and Riders Master. Okay, look at this. Effective clock is all messed up. So I don't think this is real, or there's something really wrong with my system as well. So let me check this because I didn't check the power plan. High performance. Okay, this is fine, but I mean there's something wrong with the sensor or the. This is okay, but it's not refreshing correctly. I don't know, but this is normal. So yeah, on average is like 4.4, 3.8, but I don't think so. It's too low. And effective clock as well. This is all messed up. So I don't think that is the real clock. Or maybe there's a bug and it performs so well at this low clock and they will unlock it, but I don't think so. Okay, so well, it was a bit I was a bit surprised by the result since I was expecting more. It's okay, I mean, this is a nice result, but the other two CPU was performing better and we have the same platform. So I want to try to load the XMP profile now to see what if it's changing or not. So because maybe the CPU just in the middle, the Super Beast and the small one, maybe it's performing worse for whatever reason. We don't know, since we have to test it. This is the Crosshair 8 with the latest beta BIOS. So now let me save it just in case, because I don't remember if I saved it before. Okay. Okay, so now I'm running at default only the XMP profile enabled. This I prefer to set it manually every time. Okay, so now we have everything at default, XMP profile, and we do the exact same test. With this setting, I was like, from sometimes I have like 53, 54 nanosecond. So the latency was good, was very good. Now I think we have 60, 62. So we have like 10 nanoseconds less than the default. So well, there's a big budget for this CPU cooler to buy. You can buy a big CPU instead. Okay, so let me show you this. So we can, before was something like this. So this is the photo. I don't know if you can see this. This is the profile I just used. Come on. So this is the profile you just saw. So 53 nanosecond 0.6. So it's a nice profile. Now this one, yes, I did boot at 21,000, so I was able to boot with that, but I had flickering and weird noise and weird things going on. So probably 2066 is achievable with well, stable. So now we have much worse numbers. This is long, but anyway, it's good to measure because, and I think later we can try the small one again. Since yesterday it was performing very nice, and something we can do is to manually set the frequency. Maybe there's something wrong with this BIOS, because yesterday I had the official version, and today I have the beta BIOS. So probably a change in the BIOS is messing with the TDP, or I don't know. So now we have 56. So this is like 4 nanosecond slower. Okay, let's try again. Same benchmark. What CPU did you have, Edward? Because sometimes change. Because I didn't try it yet with the big one, so. So we was averaging like 196, something like this. So let's see now 4 nanosecond and 400 megahertz. What is the impact of this? Okay, the same as me. So well, I didn't tinker too much with the timing, so I just build a profile just to see what happens. Maybe I typed something wrong, but the latency is fine, so this profile should be slower. See, now I'm typing time test 1. Okay, I click on the route that I want, and see all the effects are going away. So it's the same every time. Okay, so maybe there's something wrong with the memory profile that I did, since it seems that it's faster than before. Or maybe going too much high with the FCLK is not good. Something we can try is to take the profile that I did before and lower the speed to 3800. So you have the same exact read and write speed, but with a 3600 MHz profile. So maybe there's something going on. There's something going on with maybe it shows that I'm running at 2000 FCLK, but maybe effectively it's not. So let's see. I'm very curious, since here it seems that this run is faster. Yes, this is definitely faster, and I'm running at the XMP. So probably, I don't know, it's weird because maybe this BIOS allows me to raise the FCLK, but something internally is not working properly. I think I need to verify that. That is actually a bit bad if it's true. I was hyped that I reach a lot of, but well, the latency is confirming that that we are doing good. So I see scaling in the latency from AIDA. So it's very weird that in gaming we actually lose performance. Well, it's good to know, to see if we have issue and if it's a real issue, if it's something that can be fixed. In fact, now the numbers are much better than before. Okay, so yes, I think this is the stock XMP results, the best, since even better than the 5600 and the 5950X. That is weird. That is very weird.
We will not falter.
Let's try to do this run with some overclock. Just to... Yesterday I think we was at 5.7, right? But I think I don't have the LLC, so probably we might crash. Let's see. Okay, we are at 4.7 gigahertz all core. Thank you. I mean, thank you. Thanks a lot. I will buy another shirt to support Buildzoid. Yes, the low of the 5950X it was better, but the average is higher now. That is a bit strange, but I think the lows are mostly tied, I think, with the cache. So the 5950X have a bit more cache, but is dual CCD. So probably there's the intercore latency a bit higher than this one that is single CCD, but this one have a little less of cache. So there's some good and bad. I'm using now the T-Force, this one, the T-Force Team Extreme T-Force 16 gigabytes, 3600 megahertz, C14. Nice kit. Oh, okay. I have the camera that is doing weird thing again. Nice. This kit. I don't know at this point if using all this clock in gaming is nice, since we just saw that pushing, maybe in application yes, at least World of Warcraft, it seems that going that high doesn't benefit at all. But it's already powerful enough. But so now I'm going to try the same run, same setup like this XMP, but with the CPU overclocked to all-core 4.7. Yeah, CSGO is a bit of a mess, and honestly, CSGO is hard to... I have like a macro to do a replay of a pro match, but it's a bit of a mess doing that now, so I won't do that. this is EVGA 240.
What can I do?
So again, same benchmark. Let's see now with the CPU overclock to 4.7, just to see if there was something in this beta BIOS that is messing with the clocks. Yeah, I can try to do LFR. Why not? Yes, I can definitely do that. I have to write to my guildmates, because maybe if they see in game, they start to ask me to join, but I cannot. So give me a moment. He was cursing me in the chat before, so I have to tell them to stop. Yes, I will do a C20 run. Okay, sorry for that, but I have to tell them to stop cursing me, that I'm not playing with them, because I'm doing this live with you. Okay, so how we are doing here now? So, oh, that is interesting. So, it seems that with the overclock at 4.7 all core, we are losing some points, at least on average. But well, now we should have an increase of FPS. So, but I think the result, what was that? 207, the average. Since we might fall around that number or even slightly less. Yes, there's something strange with this beta BIOS, so it's okay that I can run FLCK this high, but there's something weird going on, since as well the training sometimes gets stuck and I have to hit reset sometimes. It's a bit weird. So okay, we have the same result apparently, yes. Probably we have a higher 1% low. Is that right? What did I'm not revealing. Yes, I did test the other CPU yesterday. Well, they are here, so I have the 5950X and the 5600X. Okay, so it seems that we have a weird thing going on.
Home.
So overclocking doesn't really change much, and this is weird. Well, maybe weird. It's normal, I think, since we are doing in single core exactly like the boost, even less. So the boost was boosting 4.8. So look, so the maximum was 4.85 with the boost. And now we are 4.7. So I think it's normal to have more or less the same performance. Yes, but it is usually normal to have not normal things when switching BIOS. Since at the launch, I think like last year they mess a lot with the TDP, with the power consumption, the limits of the PBO, the XFR. So I think it's normal to have some minor bugs during the first releases of the BIOS. So I don't think that. Well, I think that this is temporary, and maybe with the next 2 release we will have something more stable. Maybe I can do benchmark in CSGO, but it's a mess to benchmark since you know, running the script with the probe match, and there's still various channels that do a lot of game benchmarks. So I would like to cover something that is not covered by anybody else. Now everybody is covering CSGO, so I don't think is something that I should do because it's time consuming. Because CSGO, at least to me, it gave me a lot of variable results. So I have to do, I think, like 5 to 6 run each to find a good average. Because there's a lot of not, let's say, not coherent results. And I don't like game like this since I have to do many runs to find the right average. If you want to do it good. So I was taking a replay of a pro match. If you want to run the map, is a benchmark that is not so real. Anyway, okay, so I'm a bit confused since I was hoping that with pushing the fiber and having better latency actually, because I did have, I think, a nice job with the memory, reducing 10 points from 5 to 4 points. So, but it didn't had much impact on gaming. So probably now the memory is not so important as before, since with all this cache, the memory came after. So probably now you need good memory and good FLCK for some application, but maybe in gaming now all this cache is more than enough. Maybe it's a good thing. Okay, now I'm running C20. So, do you want to see C20 overclocked or at default? So, well, I show you now overclocked. So, since I have to restart to reset it. Maybe we crash now, because since I didn't set LLC or manual voltage, I'm using an offset, so I don't know if we can run this benchmark safely. Okay. If we crash, we restart. So the temps are right here. So 69 degrees. 68, pretty nice. So actually this BIOS kinda rocks. So I'm 1.2 volt, a bit less, 4.7, no, I have there's some throttling, no, it's fine. 70 degrees. But it looks strange that I can run at 4.7 and only 1.2 volts. Or this is a very nice golden sample, or it sounds a bit strange to me, honestly. Do we have like a reference of the score? Do you have in mind the score that... well, the score is nice so far. Do you have a reference of your score, maybe? Well, the score is correct, so... Well, I'm using Benchmate, so it's validated, this is correct. So I'm using the hardware bot validator, so the score you see here, if here is green, I can submit it if I want, so... Yeah, why not? Let's save it. No, well, I don't have the resolution to do that, so... Who cares? Well, the result is valid. Yes, I will keep benchmarking WoW, since now somebody asked me to benchmark at 1440p, so we do a run at 1440p as well. Thank you again, Eski. Thanks a lot. I think, okay, 5983 stock. Well, this is doing better than stock. Not too much, but it's doing better than stock. Of course, I'm 4.7 all clock, all core. So since we have headroom with the temperature and the voltage, I'm going to raise a bit the bar. So let's start to do 47.5. Maybe this BIOS allows me to overclock better. Who knows? Since I'm not crashing yet. 70 degrees, 71, 72, 4 GHz and 44.75, 1.240. So this is okay. is crashing, so I guess that I can give a bit of voltage more, but still impressive. 4.7 something is a very nice result. Well, it's a yes, now I'm going to do a stock. I'm curious to see the result, but honestly, well, with Cinebench, the memory itself is not I mean, it doesn't impact performance, the timings. The FCLK does. So I can try maybe to do the same test with more FCLK, just to check if the profile that I made is good also for application. No, okay, seems that we are hitting a bottleneck at 4.7, let's say. So 4.7 all core with a very low V core is the sweet spot for this specific chip. Maybe it's a good one and all the other do less, or this is a very bad one and you find one that do 5 gigahertz. So it's all about silicon luck, but let's say 4.7 should be a good average. Okay, now let's see if I can reset the default with Ryzen Master. Yes, the memory speed doesn't really matter in Cinebench. Cinebench is not about memory speed, it's about FCLK, mostly for the single thread, but you can, sometimes when I do extreme overclocking, I do Cinebench with the memory at stock. So Cinebench is not related to memory at all. So if anybody is trying to test the memory or the memory performance with Cinebench, don't do that, since Cinebench doesn't care about your memory. Okay, well, I do a restart just in case, just to see, and then we can try the stock. Yeah, I think Cinebench R15. I don't know R20 if doesn't care even for the FCLK. So, but Cinebench usually you don't tinker much with the memory. Cinebench is more like pushing the clocks and sometimes waiting for the lucky run. So this is the most old trick in the world for Cinebench is just click until you get the lucky one. So, okay, let's try stock Cinebench. And let's see the temp. Oh, nice, I was trying to resize the desktop. So now I'm at stock. The current clock is 4.6, 4.5. So yes, makes sense. And by the way, 4.5 in at default is pretty nice. I have 78 degrees, so more than before. Because probably, yes, I'm pushing more voltage than before, so I have more temperature. That is okay. So, well, if you do rendering at this point, manual overclocking is a nice thing to do if you have a Ryzen 3. I think we have to wait for the CTR, the tool of Usmus. Okay, 5928. So, okay, yes. It's similar of the result you wrote before. Sorry, guys. Okay, so, well, okay, what we can do now is I want to check something. I want to try to lower a lot the memory speed and do that World of Warcraft benchmark again, just in case, to see the impact, the real impact of the memory, since maybe with all this cache, now the memory is less important than before. Yes, I stay there. So, And yes, now that you remind me, I do that. I am addicted to many things. Technology, this vape thing. Okay, so let's do something really stupid. Let's use the memory at 240. So very low. So now we can have a boost in performance of 200%. No, well, your CPU is not broken. Probably it's the BIOS that is broken, or the tool that monitor the CPU that are broken. So, but you know, when we are in beta testing mode in the early release, it's okay to have some weird thing happening. Well, if you think that with Zen3, the first release was actually better than all the other one for the auto overclocking thing that was working, and then they take it off. Zen Plus the same. The first release was boosting properly, and then now we don't have even PBO on Zen Plus. That was the only feature that was working, and they took it off, and it's crazy. Yes, it's heat and current that kill, not the voltage. Okay, so 220. Let's see the latency, how ridiculous it is. Because maybe with all the cache we have now, memory is not important anymore. So I can close my YouTube channel and say, don't overclock the memory. It's not worth it. Dark Hero B55 or Unify. Well, I don't know exactly, but for a motherboard, if you are between B550 or another big one like X570, if you don't do something like extreme overclocking or very specific thing, choose the best you want, since it seems that this CPU can run perfectly fine at default if you don't need to do rendering or stuff like that. But in that case, buy a workstation, a proper workstation. So the read speed is like half, right, as well. So we have really crappy memory settings now. So I think it's one of the worst AIDA benchmark I ever saw. Yes, now we play a bit with the memory. So I want to see the impact. Since if I don't see any impact at all, I don't want to spend hours testing scaling of all the CPU if it's not impacting. I want to waste time as well. So yeah, as you can see, the TDP is quite low, since I was 4.7 at 1.196. So it's okay. We have a really shitty latency. So okay, the worst memory configuration possible. Let me start with the warcraft. The plastic sheet, yes, I have to do that. I will do a remove the plastic sheet at 1 million subs. So in like 50 years. Is that so bad? No, honestly, because since I swapped memory a lot, I'm afraid to damage the memory. It's so nice like this. Because I have memory kit that they are like, seems like they were chewed by a grizzly bear, and I'm afraid to peel that off. Okay, so let's try the shitty run. Okay, are you ready for the worst memory run possible?
Safe passage.
Actually, it's performing quite well. I think a bit less than before, but still, the memory was a bit bad. The latency was like 70, 77, 78. 4 8GB DIMMs. Yes. Now I put 4GB DIMM, 4 8GB DIMM. Oh, it's a dream because they are peeled already. Yes. Okay, at the end of this live stream, I will peel that off for you. Well, it's doing good. Having the shitty memory, you know what? It's performing better. Look at the 1% lows. It's performing better than before. Okay, so my next video is tune the memory down all the way to gain performance. That is crazy. No, it's going a bit down now. Let's see. Do you recall the 1% low of the first run we did? Okay, 8 GB now. Well, maybe now all the channel have an impact in performance. We can try now. So I put the sticks on, since I have all gold B die, so I'm pretty sure that it's stable with the same settings. But I don't know if with 4 stick I'm stable, but we can try. Yeah, really, we don't need memory. That's out of the window. Now we have an impact. There's an impact, but honestly, it's not that much. One thing we can try to cripple the system again, only 1 stick. So let's run with single channel memory. The CPU is so powerful that you can take out the motherboard. It runs better than before. Exactly. Don't use the memory so you don't need to overclock it. Pretty simple. Thanks again, Eski. Dragon lives matter. Yes, you see the dragon that is there and is thirsty. This. My little dragon. It's like 3 months that is not eating liquid nitrogen anymore and is very sad. Okay, so 191 FPS with shitty memory. I don't know if it's a good thing and that this is a very nice CPU or what. Ciao Franco. Okay, so what's next? Who is voting for single channel test? So only 1 stick, 8 GB stick, only 1. You know, Warboy Airbrusher is one of our team, the Italian extreme modder. He's the one that made the dragon, so we have the father of the dragon. So I can for people that doesn't know the dragon yet, this dragon was made by Warboy that we have in the chat here. So this is my dragon and he is the father. So thank you again, Franco. I will let to feed them after. One day he's going to bite me a hand off, so. Eco mode. Yes, I think I can make a dedicated video with eco mode, since I want to do a fanless build, so with an Noctua or other component. I would like to do a small form factor fanless. I have as well a Seasonic Platinum fanless PSU, and I would like to do a full fanless build. So yes, I will create more content about the eco mode. So if you want to see very nice builds, check our website, Italian Extreme Modder, or in Facebook. So I write the link in the chat. If you like PC, and you know that you do, check this out. It's our Facebook page, and except me, that I'm a crazy overclocker, all the other team members, they are amazing modders. So if you want to see very good looking PC and super custom modification, go there and check it out. And give us a like. And I'm sure that you will enjoy the page. And you can learn Italian too, since we wrote in Italian mainly. Well, balanced plan, yes. I think I have to read more carefully the tweet of Robert Hallock that was explaining that we don't need the high performance or the Ryzen plan anymore. I think I will going to do some tests with the eco mode, the power plans, how to make this efficient without losing performance. Apparently we have to buy shitty RAMs. Okay, now let's do something that nobody should do on their system, using one stick of memory. And let's see what happens. So now, while we wait, I will start with one. So, are you ready? Do we do that? Yes. Let's see if you can have the audio. Look, it's super shiny. Super shiny. I like it. I can do this all night, you know that? Okay, now that I can ruin this beautiful memory kit, I think you can sleep tonight with knowing that this beautiful RAM is unpeeled and ready to be scratched by my hands. Okay, so now World of Warcraft again with shitty memory. Now let's check with the latency first. I'm going to test B450 motherboard, yes, but I don't have like a B450 from Asus or Gigabyte. I have MSI. It's a pity, but I will find out a way to test with a B450. And usually MSI is very good of having BIOS for the new CPU, so I think MSI will follow shortly. When they do, I have the budget build with the RTX, the GTX 1660 Super that I want to try with the 5600X, because I really like budget build. Nowadays, with the budget build and a relatively small amount of money, you can really have a nice performance. So I prefer to tinker with budget build than these super monsters. They're more fun. So with with much less money, you can have very nice performance. Lowering my SOC increase the stability. Yes. Sometimes lowering the SOC means lower voltage. Lower voltage means lower temperature. Lower voltage means lower temperature. Lower temperature means more stability. So yes, sometimes less is better. Look at that shitty result. This is unbelievably slow. And we will have now 300 FPS, I'm sure. Yeah, but I think it's normal now to have a lot of bugs. You know what? The hot Coke, is bad to have hot Coke. There's nothing worse than hot Coke. Let's refresh a bit this Coke. Because I don't know you guys, but I hate drinking hot Coke. Okay, 76 nanosecond of latency. Not bad. So now let's try World of Warcraft again with the shitty memory. Now is ice coke. Ah. Almost freezed. Oops. It's almost ice. It's way better than before. The power is out of LN2. I think I'm going to recharge the big one on Monday, so we have to finish it off tonight. Since Monday I'm going to recharge this and the small one 30 liters. So next week we can do some real extreme overclocking and with the big one, the 5950X, and searching for some world record. Okay, so this is now the first
favor, friend.
and the worst shitty memory run. Let's go. Really? It still performs. Look at that FPS. 240 FPS with only one single memory stick. With the plastic still on the memory, that this is the one that gave us performance, but anyway. If I peel that kit, you know that I have like 50% of penalty less. And you force me to do that. The second cam. Yeah, this is pretty crazy. 200 FPS with a single channel memory is stunning. And look at the 1% lows. 1% and 0.1% lows. It's still performing with one memory channel. I think I have to shoot it to see if the crazy in performance. The XMP latency test. Now, when I... Okay, what do you want to see? The XMP latency test, you mean with the 4 sticks? That was nicely cold. Okay, yes, this game runs on cache, basically. So they went from Zen1, completely crappy, Zen Plus so and so, Zen2 was nice but not like Intel, and now it's like a completely monster that maybe you can run. I think if I can load World of Warcraft here, I can play 200 FPS only with the CPU, without the motherboard and the graphics card as well. So they made a big jump in World of Warcraft, at least. Very big jump. Well, I think at this time, I hope that in Intel will go the same way. So adding cache, maybe using the mesh technology plus the cache, who knows. Cache was a very smart move, since now they have the top in the application segment, plus the gaming as well. Gaming in single channel, so you can build a super small form factor motherboard with only one slot, and it still beat Intel. Anyway, jokes aside, we have 177 FPS, 105, 1% low, 88.1% low, with only one stick and pretty badly set. I don't know what to say. I think it's pointless to do a lot of memory testing now, since yeah, I expected like half. Usually if you do that with a Zen Plus, a Zen 1 or a Zen 2, you literally cut in half the performance. But now we don't need super memory anymore. We are talking World of Warcraft, one thread, basically 1 or 2 thread. So probably if I run Tomb Raider now, it's going to be very bad. So it's something that I'm going to try in a separate video offline, so I can make a proper Excel sheet. I can do all the scientific way to test, to check for errors and to retest again. So yeah, Shadow of the Tomb Raider I was meaning. So yeah, I can try to do that. So if we want, we can run Shadow of the Tomb Raider now like this. I can put four stick with the XMP or the big profile and see the difference. just to see if this let's take out all the memory works only with World of Warcraft or with other platforms. Yeah, I think if I go in a raid, maybe I can play like this, but it's not that easy for me to enter a raid. I'm a tank, okay, but I think with the new ability, I didn't test the new ability, so probably if I tank right now, I'm going to be pretty bad. The average FPS was, what was, guys, like 195, more or less, 200, so not that much, like 15% less, with a shitty single channel memory and a super powered 4000 memory kit. So losing 10% is nothing. So I'm surprised, honestly, in a good way, since the memory impact is not so crazy as before. And you know, if I say that, it's pretty strange, since I'm really like a memory Nazi. Okay, so we can do Shadow of the Tomb Raider now, and then I try to push for 4000 megahertz with 4 channel, with 4 sticks, sorry, and we do that benchmark again, just to see if a game with that use multi-threading and probably the dual channel is doing better or not. If we saw that it's still like a 10% or 15%, I drop the mic. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Completely unexpected, honestly. Completely unexpected. Alright, so Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So I'm going to run it at high preset, not very high. What do you say? What preset should I go? Highest or high? I go with high usually, just not to be entirely badly bottlenecked by the GPU. Okay, so high preset, full screen, 1080p. You see here, I'm not lying to you, there's only one stick, because that stick is here. Yeah, this is a nice t-shirt. And you know what? This t-shirt, it brings me luck, because every time I do liquid nitrogen with t-shirt, we break records. So I have a deep love with this t-shirt. Okay, let's see this Super Beast single channel shitty memory build, how it's doing. Looking crisp? Yes, I made some changing with the lights. I'm using the same camera, the Nikon D780, and a good lens. The 2470 2.8 is a very nice lens. But I tweak a bit the lighting and yes, it's sharper. You like to know how this perform? So this is the 32 gigabyte ballistic, yes, it's 2 stick of 16 gigabyte 3600 megahertz. So I think it's the one that he was looking for. Maybe we can try this one as well. But you know, honestly, with the relevance of the memory now, it seems a bit pointless. Oh, thank you. Yes, I really like Ballistic. Since they're a good company, reliable, they good support, and you don't have to bin anything, since every kit that I tried is good quality. You know, I really like BDI because I'm doing extreme overclocking, But BDI is like the CPU. Sometimes you have to be lucky, and sometimes you buy the expensive kit, thinking that you can overclock it badly, and then you have like a crappy kit. With ballistic, the quality is overall good. So they're not paying me. I do it because it's true, and you know that I'm independent. So yeah, sometimes Rip Jaw are very nice. I have a kit of Rip Jaws that I did a lot of record with that and the 2700X. But the same Rip Jaw, sometimes you find a bad kit and is a super bad overclocker. And that is the luck of the draw that you don't have with ballistic. Ballistic, the quality is the same. And I think it's something that must be said. Yes, it's 145. I think I got a very nice deal. I got this kit, I think for 95 euros, something like that, or 100 euros. It was like an Amazon deal. It was super cheap. So sometimes you can find on Amazon very nice deal with ballistic. So good memory kit and cheap, because like paying 100 and something or even 120 for a 32 gigabyte kit. And by the way, I think I pushed this on Intel above 4000 megahertz, so it's a good overclocker too. No, it wasn't Black Friday deal. It was like 4 months ago. It was like one day I saw it like a 95 euro and buy it. It was like a reflex. I tear down the phase change. Yes, a bit, since I have to check for leaks. So I think the phase change have a leak or something because it's empty of gas. Next week I'm going to do a video how to repair a phase change. I'm going to try, so I have to fix it, but now I don't have time, so we go with the big Collins solution. Timings buy for ballistic. Honestly, when you buy a ballistic kit that is above 300 MHz C15 or 3200 MHz C16, they practically have the same chip, so they overclock brutally every chip. Okay, let me take a picture of this core. So like this is better. Okay, now we are going to try with 4 stick with good memory. Ah, okay, you didn't see the score. Sorry. Well, I can read you later. Okay, I'm going to try to put that on screen. I'm going to write the score in the chat so we can see the damn thing. So let's say CPU game was like 81 min. Okay. Okay, keep note of this result. And now we're going to try with 4 kit of BDI at 4000 MHz. I know that I have to peel the other kit, but we will do that at the end of the stream. Okay, the camera is doing crazy things again. Honestly, I don't know what's going on here. I hate that camera. Sometimes it freezes. Okay. Well, the T-Force is big. It's much bigger than the Trident. So if you think on buying it, keep in mind of the clearance of your cooler. Let's see if we have a web. Now I'm with a shitty timing, so it must boot this way. Howling noise, yes, is the inverter. Since I'm running on solar, as you can see up here, I have a solar inverter, a pack of lithium battery, because I'm running all with solar energy here, so I'm completely green energy. All the power of this test is powered by the sun, so I'm also a green channel. Isn't that nice? Everything is at zero CO2 emission, mostly. I'm in the future, yes. It's a tech channel. A tech channel must be very tech savvy. Okay, so now let's try the 4000 megahertz profile. Yes, the Viper Steel is a very best for the bugs. Must be green. Thanks again, asking. You're my top supporter. I must peel that straight away. So, okay, let's see if you're lucky. Okay, so, oh sorry, this one. Okay, 4000 megahertz, 2000 FCLK, 1.45, auto. Timings, you can see the timings, right? Yes. So C16 with nice timing, not super tight, not extreme, but not bad either. So before I had like 53 to 54 nanosecond in latency. If we can boot, we can see if we have some changes in latency. I had a screenshot, so we can compare if we have more read and write speed. Oh, we are booting. So yes, pretty impressive. Warzone. Okay, I can try. Give me 1 second. Okay, so all right, let me check if he's at least a bit stable. Just 30 seconds, 1 minute, because I'm curious to see if he's stable or not. Warzone, I can try, but no, I don't have it installed. Well, you are in my Discord, so tomorrow or maybe Monday I can do that for you, no problem. So ping me in my Discord and I can do the test whatever you want, so no problem. Just ping me, remind me, and offline we can do that. Okay, you can see shit. When the test is moving, I will move the window, so yes, write me in the chat if I do something wrong, because I see the monitor here, but sometimes the layout of the stream is different. Okay, so we have 55 nanosecond. That is pretty similar. So this was the other one. So you can see now. This was with 2 stick, this with 4. So exactly the same profile. 2 stick on the right, 4 stick on the left. So we have lost 2 nanoseconds. Okay, now that we have a very nice profile, let me just try 30 seconds to see if it's not stable. Usually, if you don't have errors in the first 30 seconds, it's a good thing. If we have error in the first 30 seconds or something like this, it's pointless to make benchmark because it's highly unstable and the result may be crippled by the instability. So at least I want to check if we are more or less stable. The RGB effect, the black one, full black. The full black RGB is the killer one. Okay, yes, it seems it should be working. See, I didn't push the timings too much, so this profile is a very easy going profile. So I can do much better with the memory. Probably I can go below 50 nanoseconds if I want to, but pushing the voltage, doing something more extreme. But for a daily use, it seems a nice profile. So 4000 MHz C16 is very nice, but it seems that with all this cache is useless. Voltage of the memory, you mean? 1.45, which is the stock for the high level B dies nowadays. And okay, now you will see the chart. I'm curious, honestly, because since it seems that all this cache makes the memory almost useless, which is cool. If, like, for a budget build, maybe now you can put the cheapest memory you can find and you're good to go. Yes, I'm GPU limited, but this specific game is good because I can see the game average FPS that is GPU related, but I also can see you have an integrated CPU benchmark, so I can measure the CPU score as well, and that is very linear. So it's a good CPU test. So it's good as well to test memory. It scales with memory. It should scale with memory. Since now with Zen3, memory seems that doesn't matter anymore. Yes, we can have definitely 2000 MHz Infinity Fabric clock, and I'm running 4 stick 8 GB each easily and pretty well pumped. So yes, but it seems that it's useless. So this beast can run with one single channel of a crappy memory kit. So the difference in WoW 4K, well, actually, 4K in World of Warcraft is still a bit CPU bound. I mean, a lot of CPU bound, since some area is completely CPU tied. So yes, there can be difference between Intel and AMD. If you have bad frame rate at 1080p, you will have the same bad frame rate at 4K if the CPU will support it. So, to give you an example, 2080 Ti, Boralus, the Intel i9 10900K at 7 GHz all core is still bottlenecking the GPU at 1080p. So 2080 Ti 1080p World of Warcraft, Boralus, CPU at 7 GHz all core, and I'm still CPU bottlenecked. This is crazy. There's a video on Tom's Hardware. I did an interview with them, so if you can check, type my name, hardware numbers, and Tom's Hardware. There's an interview that I do this small gig with World of Warcraft and 7 GHz i9, and it's still bottlenecked by the CPU. It's crazy. is funny because, you know, that game is so badly developed that even if you can push a monster PC, there's something that is blocking. Okay, so now let's comment. So CPU game 81, okay, 152. So it's like half, more or less is half. Yeah. CPU render, well, not that much. 140 versus 188. Max CPU render 400 versus 469. Average 260 versus 285. 95 percentile 149. Okay. The GPU results that probably you don't have from before. First we have 151 and now we have 153. So same GPU result. We had 289, we have 308. So 191, 195, 165, 157. So, okay. Even with one stick, I'm not bottlenecking the GPU. Nice to know. Nice to know. And what else? I don't know, we can try to push a bit the FCLK with 4 stick to see theoretically if it's possible. But at this point, I don't really want to spend much time doing memory scaling right now. I will do it in a good way and to track it in a offline video. But I think tinkering with the RAM now in a live is kind of weird. So let's try to push the FCLK a bit, just to see if we can hold 3066. No, I didn't try with 4 stick World of Warcraft, but we did try World of Warcraft with 1 stick and it doesn't almost change anything. So what I'm going to do now is pretty simple. I think now to be able to reach those clock, well, I can try like this now, but I think I have to raise some BDDG and other voltages. If it can boot right now, it's a very nice IMC. So I'll be surprised if we have a boot. Yes, in fact, it's training. Let's see. Yes, so you can see the code here. It's trying to train the memory, but I think obviously trying that hard with 4 stick is difficult. Come on, surprise me, boot. Probably I will post in safe mode. Yeah. But I think raising the VDDG, maybe we can boot with that. Okay. It didn't like this thing. So if you want to go high, you can try to do this. Now we should be able to boot. So I changed this because today I hit 2100. Okay, so I did boot at 2.1 GHz FCLK, but I had a lot of issue at 2.1. So, but I was stable at 266 MHz with only 2 stick. Probably it's too much for 4 stick. But I mean, doing 4000 MHz with 4 stick is a lot, especially with a CPU that doesn't need memory at all. Okay, now I think we cannot boot. Or do we? No, okay. So it's a no-go. Going with 4 sticks is a no-go. Yes, I stick with 2 stick. And good thing is that I'm not using any cooling at all in the memory. I should, because it's a bit warm, but it's stable without any major issue. So okay, now what do we have in the queue? We're talking about World of Warcraft doing something. 1440p. Let's try again. Let's see. Okay, now we are 2066 megahertz. Let's see if it's more or less stable, if we can run World of Warcraft. No, what is that? No way. It went back to default, so restart. Okay. Out. Second cam is crashed. Again, I don't know honestly what is that. But, well, I will try to fix it. Okay, working again. Okay, let's try like this. This should be stable since I did that before. Okay, we have a boot. So I'll do a latency test. 30 seconds of mem test. And we can try World of Warcraft again. Obviously, we don't have any much improvement, I'm pretty sure. Okay. Let's see. As you can see, 266 megahertz FCLK. Shadow Tomb Raider. Okay, why not? I didn't take a photo of the last result, so if you have the numbers, if anybody have taken a screenshot or something, we can do Tomb Raider and then World of Warcraft. So okay, not stable. So you know what, because before I hit the frequency with this kit. Is a 4600 C18. It's a very nice kit, it's binned, so okay, we can run, but maybe I have to stabilize this profile. So now running benchmark with this is pretty useless since it's not stable at all. Okay, I go back to the other profile. We do a quick run in World of Warcraft. Yes, to 266, 2066 is a bit too much, honestly, especially when all this cache, now the memory doesn't really matter as before. So I mean, you have to put a lot of effort to stabilize something that doesn't give you a real performance regarding the effort. So honestly, it's okay to have the memory tuned, especially if you do something like application, or if you use the PC for something else. You may need the power, but you know, trying so hard to stabilize to the limit the memory profile is not worth it. When we do extreme overclocking, yes, we have to do it to squeeze every megahertz, every point, but for a daily use, it's wasting time. The voltage of the memory, well, honestly, there's only 1.45. Let's say, I can go back in the BIOS, I can show you. So, well, there's a replay tomorrow, but I can show you that now. So. So if you want to push the FCLK with this generation, well, as well with that before, usually the settings to do that are this. With the Zen3, the SOC is like something like this to push for FCLK, or something like this. With this generation, I saw to go that high, you have to go 1.15, 1.16, even this one. So this is more or less the range if you want to go 2.1 gigahertz with the Ryzen 5, with the Ryzen 5000, sorry, but it's not worth it. So SOC 1.2 is a lot. I will, if I have to make a build for daily, I will stick with 1.1 or 1.11. No more than that, since more VSOC, more temperature. And by temperature I mean a lot. If you raise a bit the SOC, you may have like 5 degree more, or even 10 degree more. So it's not a good thing to raise too much the SOC. So it's better to have like 100 megahertz less and a much cooler platform. To check RAM stability, I'm using Karu RAM test, this one. So Karu software. And well, it's a nice one, it's like €9 and it's completely worth it since it's super fast. It's very, very fast. And if you go like for 10,000 or 20,000%, the system is rock solid stable. I did so many times, I left it overnight, and it's pretty accurate. So now I'm going to test World of Warcraft again, but at 1440p, since people told me to do that, and since you know that I listen to you, I do that benchmark. So let me do this benchmark, and then best latency I managed to get so far. I didn't push too much, but I was like, I show you, I have the screenshot, is 53 nanosecond, 53.6 nanosecond. So, but I think I can go below 50, but as we saw tonight, is almost useless, since memory doesn't really affect the system as before. All the cache is not giving the memory the importance as before. So okay, 1440p, everything maxed out. Okay, let's run this. Okay.
Fancy a cuppa? Safe passage!
So what we see here at 1440p is probably the same we saw at 1080p. World of Warcraft with a 2080 Ti running Full HD or Quad HD, honestly, you will have the same FPS since it's still CPU limited. Look, we are at 87%, 86%, now we enter into Borealis, is going to go down again. Best memory latency with the 3300X, I think it was 59, something like this. Maybe, yes, 58.6 or 59, roughly. But that I think was, I can improve that as well. Because the technology is the same, so we're talking about single CCX, but that is a 4-core instead of this one that is a 8-core single CCX. But it performs quite well. I mean, for World of Warcraft, the 3300X is the best, even against the 3950X. Yeah, maybe the AIDA is wrong. I don't know, because I saw some weird stuff. But SOC voltage for FCL clock, yes, 1.15. Yes. But honestly, I don't really want to run that high on daily, since it's potentially dangerous and you can degrade your IMC. So honestly, I won't go over 1.12 or 1.11. So the lower the better. 1.15 for me, for daily, I won't use it. Since doing extreme overclocking, I had to raise the SOC for some reason, and doing the decoder 4K decoder, the codec, I burned the CPU. I burned the golden sample to do that. I was fighting to catch the scores. I did get the score. I think I made a first position, but then like 5 seconds or 10 seconds after the screenshot, I killed the CPU. So don't push too much the SOC voltage, because the SOC is going to kill your CPU. So I was pretty sad. That was the fastest 2700X in the world probably. So that was a bad choice. But I did catch the first position though, so at least it went out with a bang. Okay, so we have now 206 on average, 138, 111. Probably we have more FPS now than in 1080p. That's nice. Yes, it's the better score than before. Okay, GPU limited in WoW with a 15. No, the 1070 is a nice card. I think the 1070 you will be okay at 1440p. Yeah, definitely okay. Since with the 1080 non-TI version, I was able to play at 4K with not much of an issue. So
You're a long way from home.
and at least you can
Remember the
always
stories.
lower a bit the shadows, or so I think if you had the 1070, wait a bit, and then you can upgrade. I don't know, with a 6 with the new big Navi or the Nvidia. I don't know, but if you have that card, I would wait a bit. Okay, I can run test at 4K. Why not? Straight away, but let me. So, I have to log in again. So. Let me time. Okay, now I have it. Okay, so 4K. Okay, all maxed out. No, I'm 5K. Too much. I still have 100 FPS at 5K resolution. Impressive. Now I'm at 4K. 107 FPS. It's pretty nice. Let me make the infographic a bit bigger. Okay, much better. RX 6800 XT or better combination. Let me check. G-Sync on, of course. I have a 4K 144Hz display, and I will always play with the G-Sync on and V-Sync on. So I like to keep V-Sync and G-Sync on, and the stuttering is 0. So at least some people say that V-Sync bring input lag. I don't know, maybe I'm getting old, but I didn't notice that. So you have a Ryzen 7 2700 non-X, RTX 2070, you can hit 100 FPS, okay, no rider, okay, yes. Yeah, the 27 non-X is still a nice CPU. For 100 FPS, yes. The problem with Zen Plus and Zen 2, they struggle a bit over 120 FPS, but 100 FPS is possible. So let's try at 4K. By the way, the game is very nice at 4K. I really love to play at 4K.
You're Admiral's fever, friend. Smooth sailing.
Okay, now the CPU is at some 100%, so but we are pushing 180 FPS still at 4K, which is impressive. Edward, the RX is a better combination with what? With your CPU? I mean, those are pretty nice GPU. You can play, I think, everything. Yes, 4K 144 Hz. This screen is an Acer Predator X27P. I bought because, well, it's a very nice display, it's also well calibrated, but you have FreeSync and G-Sync, so I can test the CPU, Nvidia and AMD with G-Sync and FreeSync. It's one of the few that have both of the technology, so I can run AMD and Nvidia and benefit from G-Sync and FreeSync. It's a pretty nice display. Also, to do some graphic works is factory calibrated. Very nice one. Yeah, it's okay riding at 4K. I think I tried riding in 4K last time with the 10900K and 2080 Ti, and I think I was almost hitting 144 Hz all the time. So the RAM was at 4600 MHz C17, so that was a pretty massively overclocked 10900K, and that was almost every time at 144 Hz in ride. So it's still, this Ryzen may be a very nice CPU, but the 10th generation Intel aren't that bad either. So if you have a 10th gen Intel, it's pretty nice to play World of Warcraft, since they have I think they have more or less the same 1% lows. So the 10th generation is the one that I think was leading before this Ryzen, because Gen 9 was very nice with average, but very bad with 1% lows, I think for the security patches. But Gen 10, they fixed in hardware the security patches, and in World of Warcraft, if you have a 10th generation Intel CPU, you have very nice 1% low. So it's a pretty dope CPU to run World of Warcraft. So now if you go AMD or if you go Intel with 10th generation or Zen 3, you will have a killer build. No, I don't have an LG Nano IPS panel. Sapphire XFX Power Color Red Devil. I have a Red Devil here, the 5600 XT, and I loved it. So yes, the Red Devil is a pretty nice one. Silent, powerful. There was some issue with the BIOS at the beginning, but I think I made a video as well how to solve it. So I think if I have to buy an AMD GPU, I will go with Power Color
Storm Song will
or the
endure. Keep your
Founder
wits about
Edition.
you out.
Okay, so the 5800X seems very poorly priced. Well, I think they have their spot. So they have a good spot. So since now they can compete with Intel, they destroy Intel in application, and they have now, let's say, the leading gaming with only one stick of memory. So, well, performance cost. So if you want the best, you have to pay the best. That's it. It's simply economy. Now they can do it, and people will buy that. So they have to make margin, and I think it's pretty good, since I think they worked a lot in the past 5 years, and now they have to make money. Can I replace i5 2500K to play WoW and a GTX refresh? Okay. With what CPU? Well, you can go 10th generation Intel or rise on Zen 3. You can go both. A 10th generation Intel or a Zen 3, if you have the budget. They are both exceptionally good for World of Warcraft. and the GTX 6060 is fine. For 1080p is a good card, so keep your GPU and buy or an Intel 10 generation or a Zen 3. They are perfectly fine with World of Warcraft. You can expect the same performance like this. Okay, so i7, i5 generation for better for WoW. Check my video about the 1000 KS and that I overclocked the memory on that chip like hell, and it was performing quite well. So you can go for playing World of Warcraft, you can go even with the Night 3, the cheapest one, but yeah, not like today, but with that Intel you have to tune the memory, and you have to buy a motherboard that allows you to tune the memory, because if you run World of Warcraft with that CPU at 266 MHz, you will see the performance gap. So if you want to go with an i3 is fine, i5 is fine, even non-KSQ, but take the motherboard that allows you to tune the memory, and you know, go with the ballistic 3600 MHz and it's fine. But don't go with the cheap memory, because you will see a lot of drops in RAID. So do we have a Ryzen ACC memory? I don't know if his Ryzen is compatible with ACC. I don't know. Let's see. RX 570, I have two of them. It was pretty nice card. 100 FPS without combat. My FPS get down to okay. I forget which you can keep. Okay, so Andre, what is your memory setup? So what frequency are you running that chip? Because the 3600 as well needs some pretty good memory to have sustaining FPS. Karamali, I'm at 4K. This is a 4K benchmark, and having 104 and 154 at 4K is pretty nice. So see, it's nice playing with this kind of frame rate of 4K. So the Corsair Vengeance 3200 MHz, well, cheap. Back in the day it was not cheap, but now you can buy better. So if you are looking for something that gives you more power, I will sell that Corsair Vengeance and we go with ballistic. $8K, you really want to see an 8K? Okay, so in the meantime that I read the chat, we try to benchmark at 8K. Okay, so we are now more or less 8K, since resolution scale is like actual resolution, so we are at 8K.
What can I do for you? Keep the
Okay, 8K benchmarking. You just have some fun. Well, jokes aside, now we finish this benchmark, since it's nice to know. What we do next? We want to see the Dragon with the 10. We do the same benchmark with the Intel 10900K at 7 GHz. We try to do extreme overclocking with this. We see how it goes with liquid nitrogen. Tell me in the chat what you want to see. If you want, we can do one or another. The Intel i9 push to 7 GHz in World of Warcraft, or we can try to, I don't know, play at 6 GHz with this one. The 5950 Extreme. That can be a possibility. Write in the chat what you want to see. Tomb Raider test. We already did Tomb Raider test. What do you want to see in Tomb Raider? Maybe if you are looking for something in Tomb Raider that we already did, the chat can write you down the results. Okay, so it's clear that you want to see the AMD with LN2. Nobody cares for Intel. Poor guys. Okay, but what CPU? Seems the chat is not in line. 5600X, this one, or 5950X? Well, honestly, I don't want to do the 5950X since it's a very big one and I have the big CPU pot. The Kingpin is mounted on the Intel and I don't want to dismount it now. I have this small one. It's not for a 16 core. So I have the new Kingpin specifically designed for this Ryzen coming next week, maybe Monday. So next week we will do LN2 with the 16 cores with the proper pot. So today we can do or the small one or this one. So next time we will do LN2 with the big one and the big pot. Since with this one I cannot sustain 16 core, so it's too much. The small guys. So okay. Chat. Okay, well we have 68 on average at 8K. Impressive. And okay, so the small one or the 58? Spam in the chat, so give me, raise a hand, I don't know. Write the CPU that you want to see overclocked and I will overclock it. So 58 seems that is taking the lead. Yes, 5800X is winning. Yeah, this is a better Cyclone, so we probably
We will
have more luck with this one.
We will
to hit 6 gigahertz. Okay. 5800X wins. What about tech deals? Tell me about that. What a weird video. I'm going to check it out later, but write me in the chat what it was that all about. He's a nice guy. I trust him. This is one of the few reviewers that I trust. He's a good guy. And I liked his way of doing things. I don't know if it's good for Super PI. Well, I think it's not as good as Intel, but I really want to try Super PI. And you know what? Today I spent like 2 hours in this mess looking for my hard drive with Windows 7 optimized for Super PI. And I'm so eager that I want to try how it's doing Super PI on the CPU, but I cannot find the hard disk. So tomorrow morning I think I will wake up early just to find the hard disk and try the Super PI. Since now I have the memory configured. So I struggled all day finding the damn hard drive and I wasn't able to find it. Yeah, the sharpness is nice. But even at 4K is good. I don't think my eyes can really tell from 4K to 8. So well, it's because I have 4K display, of course. So my display is bottlenecking me, but one day maybe I will try World of Warcraft at 8K with an 8K display. So 3080 or 6800 XT. I don't know. Since I don't have that card here, I cannot tell. But from the paper, it seems that AMD is going to be good. You know, my best guess is since AMD and Microsoft had a partnership, and I saw the World of Warcraft thing logo in the presentation of Big Navi, and historically AMD and DirectX 12 is doing very good. So I think the best GPU for World of Warcraft will be Big Navi. But it's my guesstimate. When I have one, I will test it, but DirectX 12 and AMD is doing very good lately on World of Warcraft. So I guess Big Navi will rock pretty much. So I think that I will use the 5950X as a CPU for the GPU review and the 6900 XT as the GPU for testing the CPU. But we will see. Okay, so let me go back to Okay, let's prepare the LNG stuff. Okay, I have to tell you one thing. So, I don't know if you have seen me doing LNG in the past months, but when we try a new CPU with a BIOS beta, is most likely that we will struggle a lot. You will see a lot of troubleshooting, a lot of things that are not supposed to do, to go like that. So be prepared that we will have issue, a lot of issue. So I don't think that everything is going to go smooth as it's supposed to be, since BIOS beta plus new CPU that I run on an LN2 is going to be, you know, tricky. The camera stopped again. I cannot find where is the issue, honestly. So okay, Anthony, see you next time. Have fun. Stay safe. iHand X570 Mobile, I recommend. I don't know, they are pretty good. I tried the ASRock, pretty nice. The Asus Corsair is pretty nice. There are a lot of good motherboard out there, so, and since they are not so super power hungry, with a decent DRM section you'll be fine. So pick whatever fit you best in terms of features. If you need a 10 GB network, if you need a lot of M2 slots, pick the best for the features and you'll be fine. I tried the ASRock with LN2, yes, and it's pretty nice for some reason, and I think I was able to run XP, maybe, but the problem with the ASRock is that they have a super stupid software for extreme overclocking that is not working at all. So the issue with the motherboard that are not Asus and extreme overclocking is that they don't have a proper software for legacy. Like Windows 7, I cannot change the clock in Windows, so it's basically useless for extreme overclocking, because if I want to push for super high frequency, I have to do it in Windows. I cannot boot at maximum frequency. So that's the problem with the non-Asus motherboard and LN2. They are not made for, or there's no support for LN2. So that for me is a big issue, and I have to stick with Asus. I'm happy with Asus, so I'm pretty happy with the Asus motherboard. Plus, I have all the software support that allows me to do extreme overclocking. Okay, so who in the chat is the first time that see an LN2 benchmark? So if you want, I can explain also something if you're interested how it works. Asus Dual RX, is it good? I think yes. Asus make pretty nice graphics card. So on and off. Okay. Oh. Insulation. I use diapers. Not joking. I really use diapers. Since you know, they invest billions. I checked, I think it was like they invested like last year $6 billion to make high-tech textile for the diapers, to keep people dry. It seems a stupid thing, but see, I'm using diapers. So diapers are incredibly good to catching water. It's their job. So I cannot trust more something that is made to catch the water. So, diapers for the win. So now what I'm going to do, normally I use the Kingpin Inferno. That is is a hot plate that goes on the back to avoid condensation, but is mounted on the Intel i9, so I cannot use it that right now. But I'm going to use a normal neoprene sheet, so I will use this. So this is a very thick neoprene on the back. Now I will going to put a diaper here to catch all the water and to isolate the motherboard. Plus diaper all around here, and then I will use this. This is very old, I think it's 10 years old, 15 years old, but it's still a good pot for maximum 8 core. And then I'm going to use this neoprene thing, and then again other diapers. So insulation is the key, because if you want to run without issue, because since we have a lot of issue anyway, at least to minimize the issue you have to do a proper insulation. So now I don't lap CPU. Bearded hardware usually laps the CPU, but I don't care about the perfect contact. Yes, it may be useful, but since usually I can take the score that I want without lapping, you know, losing warranty and all that kind of bad stuff. I don't lap the CPU. I mean, a couple of degrees doesn't really change much in my opinion. Everybody have a different opinion on that. Mine is that I don't really care for a couple of degrees. And I tell you what, even more, with Ryzen and the cold bug, if I'm not at full pot, so if I'm not at 192, I'm like 189, sometimes it's even better. Because maybe that couple of degree of the delta is going to help me not having a cold bug. Because if I have a cold bug, the CPU and the motherboard shuts down and is a mess. So maybe sometimes not reaching the lowest temperature possible is a good thing. So the chat is quiet. So now the plan is, first is to find a missing piece, since I have a missing piece here. Okay, here it is. So now the plan today now is to be able to use this CPU at full pot. To do that, I have to reduce the FCLK to, let's say, between 15 to 1600 megahertz of Infinity Fabric clock, since as last generation the Infinity Fabric hate the cold, so I won't be able to use high fabric clock to go full pot, but it seems that it's fine, since with all this cache we don't need that. Anyway, we will see. Oh, so you are tuning the memory of the 5950X. Nice. Yeah, it's fun tuning the memory, even if it's pretty useless. So my advice is go single channel and rock the world, since you can do it. Anyway, it's good to have the memory tuned for a lot of reasons. Windows loading, application, everything. I mean, if it's free, tune it. At least you have power. Who cares if it's not it's not going to be used, but at least you have it. Gen Intel comparison for okay. Yes. I don't remember if I published the result of the 10600K, because I'm still a bit behind, since I did move from one house to another, and I have a lot of benchmark that I didn't publish yet, and I have a lot, especially on budget builds. So my resolution is to be able to put all that material in the review of the Zen3. So I have a lot of benchmark to transform into video. and I will do it in a week or two. Now I want to see if we can push at 6 GHz this CPU, so at least we can do some benchmark with Benchmate and submit to hardware bot. We can play World of Warcraft at 6 GHz and to see if we can have more FPS, you know, we can try some various stuff. Competitive benchmarking and World of Warcraft, we can do the same, since I think I have only 10 liters of LN2, but should be enough. If you don't have too many issues, should be enough to have some benchmarking fun and play and try World of Warcraft at 6 GHz. If we can reach 6 GHz. Sorry for the noise. This seems a pretty nice CPU, so my guess is that we may play at 6 GHz all core. Okay, so what I did now is to insulate the lower part of the socket. This has got really cold, and if not insulated properly, I will get water on the VRM section. So it can be dangerous, since I can shut down my motherboard, and we don't want that. So okay, this is a thing. Now KPX thermal paste. Frequency record I think was 6 GHz, but the validation. Previous generation I stopped with I didn't benchmark on LN2 the XT, but I have I think most of the first position for the X3800X, so not the XT, was mine. So I was benching at like 5.8, something like this. So 5.7, 5.8. Now the XT was a bit better, so it was benchmarking at 5.9, 5.85. Well, for extreme overclocking and full pot, I have no choice to use the KPX, since the thermal grizzly is fine, but when I near to full pot, usually I crack it, so it cracks and is a mess. So I prefer the KPX. I never cracked a KPX on a CPU. Maybe one time with a GPU, but with a CPU I never cracked this paste. So it's a pretty nice one. I mean, super reliable, so I never had any issue, so I keep going with this. The Smurfy paste. Sorry if you don't talk too much now, but it's a very delicate operation, and I don't want to have all the blue paste going down to the motherboard. It's really hard to remove. Okay. It's very important to have a nice contact. My 3900X XT, I had one, but it was very unlucky. So I had a CCD, sorry, that was very nice, and one that was very bad. Plus my 3900X had a super difficult cold bug at minus 95 degrees. So it was impossible to go down that, and so not competitive benchmarking with that CPU. A pity. Okay, that's a good placement. Now, diapers again. Again here, what I'm trying to do is to protect the socket area from water that may drip inside. So it's always good to put something that eliminates the air, since condensation is the moisture that is in the air condensating into water. If there's no air, if there is less air there's no condensation. So eliminate the air at the same time putting something that can absorb the water is the way to go. And with the diaper I can do exactly that. I can eliminate the water, and I forgot to put this, but it's been a big mistake. Sorry, I forgot to put the thermal probe. That is important. I need to measure the temperature, so I will put a probe here. Okay, now I can keep doing what I was doing, with less. The difference between this and a normal paste is that this paste doesn't crack at full pot. So a normal paste like the thermal grizzly that are nice, but around 100 minus 120, 130, a normal thermal paste go really hard. It gets really hard, and suddenly you see like crack, and it forms like a fissure between the CPU and the pot, and you can lose like 50 degrees. So you cannot do overclock anymore, and you have to warm the pot until 0 degree, 20 degrees, wait to the contact that fixes again, and the paste is goes into the right place, and then you can go back again, hoping that it doesn't crack again. So with this paste, it's specifically made to extreme temperature. And since we have a lot of issue, it's good to minimize the the problems. Yeah, the issue about diapers is they have some like airs. Anyway, okay, this is done. Now I use insulation again. So I'm going to put this neoprene around. To avoid having condensation. Okay. This. Every time I don't remember the correct holes. Sorry, because well, this was made for the AM3 socket, AM2, AM3, so it's a bit old, but fine. Okay. Old but gold. The good thing about this CPU pot is that it's fast. So it's hard to control the temperature, but I can reach lower temperature faster, and I can use less liquid nitrogen than the Kingping T-Rex. So this gets to extreme temperature really fast. But then, if I have to control the temperature, it's not so sensitive, so I can swing rapidly hot to cold. But what do you mean under the pod? Now everything is insulated. Back and up. Given the choice, you prefer i5 or i7 10 Gen for WoW? I think I don't really care for the CPU. If it's a 10 Gen Intel, is okay as long as you tune the memory. So invest if you have to invest money in a CPU or another, and you don't have budget for a proper motherboard, invest more money on the motherboard and the memory, and then pick the best CPU you can with the money you have left. So probably go with an i5 with a good motherboard and a good memory kit. The Viper Steel 440 go for that, and good motherboard. You have more performance in World of Warcraft. Okay, so it seems that we are good to go. Usually I prefer to put the CPU in this slot, so it shouldn't have any issue, but I don't know. Let's try like this. If it's not working, I will move it to the other one. So LN2 jumper on. Here is all connected. Okay. I hope that this is going smooth, but I don't think so. So I'm using a nice memory kit, but anyway, memory are not to be touched much today for this test. Now what I'm doing is to protect the memory from the water using the diapers. So diapers are very important to catch the water. I know that it looks funny to use diapers, but it's effective. I mean, if something works, funny or not, is the way to go. Most people use Vaseline, but Vaseline is a mess. You have to put the motherboard in the dishwasher, and I hate that. Since I have this solution, it is perfectly fine, and I don't need to dishwash my motherboard after. It's better. Okay, in the meantime, we can see if the thing is working or not. Since sometimes happen that I prepare everything but nothing is working, I have to take it out. Yeah, no post. Of course we don't have post. That is normal. When you do extreme overclocking, nothing is going the way it's supposed to go. That's the thing. Okay. But we will fix it. When you do extreme overclocking, you learn to fix things, since having issues is the new normal. Uh, 3200 MHz is 16 any good. If you have a Zen3, yes, whatever, since you saw that the memory doesn't impact too much if you play World of Warcraft. But I recall that you have a Zen2, so go with the ballistic. Whatever ballistic you can buy is fine. Issue and only issue today, the day of issues. But since I told you, it's normal. When you do extreme overclocking, having issue is okay. Since every time I take out the LN2 pot, I already know that it's going to be issue over issues. So no surprise. But issue are opportunity to be solved. So you know what? Also the monitor doesn't really want to. Let's see if we can see something now. No. What I think is something related to the VGA. So probably this BIOS have some issue with the VGA in that slot. So we change the slot. Boot or no boot? Boot. Yes. Okay. Maybe you have an issue with the smart memory. I don't know. Probably is something that you will do from the Radeon panel or something like that. So I don't have a clue. We will see probably when the big Navi comes out. Now I'm putting more diapers, so because we don't want to have water going from here to the precious motherboard and the VGA, of course. And this is noisy, but it's the only way to keep the vapors of liquid nitrogen away from the components. So okay, stay here, stay here. Okay, so give me a moment, since my screen is not working. I can see from your, but my monitor is not doing its job. Display issue. Yes, the memory is not so impactful as before. And it was weird. We did a lot of testing, so I suggest you to watch the replay of this video. I will make some video in depth with more scientific benchmark, but there's a lot of cache in the CPU, and it seems that is not meaningful as before. And I'm kind of sad about this because, you know, I was always the memory Nazi, but yeah, it seems all the cache is helping with shitty memory. So give me a moment, since you know, I prepped an entire system for extreme overclocking and the monitor is having problem. That is the fun of life. Maybe it's the cable. Usually it's the cable. So come on. It will be up and running soon, so it's a minor issue. Just the time to fix it. Well, I think it's good to have a proper memory setup. Okay, what do? We do so the thing with LN2 is to start really low, like this. Okay, since we will have problem with the temperature, okay, then I have to cool the system down, since I saw strange voltages here and we don't want that. I think you can see that, right? Okay. Okay. Nice. So let's go back to 1080p. And let's go down a bit. Since I am in the LN2 mode, some voltages are very high. So to start pushing the voltages to avoid cold boot, cold bug, first I have to go down a bit, then to set some voltages, go down a bit again, and see if we can avoid cold bug and push all the way down to full pot. So now I'm waiting to go at 0 degree to see the delta. So I have to have a match. So I'm 26 here, 29 there, so I'm sure that I have a good contact. So the CPU pot is having a good contact with the CPU. Yeah, I'm a bit sleepy too. I'm living in Spain now. I'm Italian, by the way. I'm a bit tired, but when I do this, you know, it's the adrenaline rush that kick in, and I can do that all night. For the Super PI record, the world record, AMD world record Super PI, I think I stayed up until 6 in the morning until I get the first position. And that was super nice. Okay, so now we have a good placement. So we have 3 degrees and 6 here, so a delta of 2 degrees. It means that everything is correct. So now we go back into the BIOS and we start tweaking some voltages. So first thing we have to do to avoid the cold bug is to raise the SOC voltage to 1.35, 1.4. If you do on air, you break everything. So you need to be like negative 20 degrees at least. So SOC voltage, manual 1.4. Then I think, I don't know exactly how this is behaves, so it should be like this. Yeah, can't recall. So let's try like this and see. Okay, let's try like this, and okay, so this should be a good setup for full pot if the CPU is fine. So now I'm going to tweak this. So we need level 3, everything at maximum, 500. Okay. Okay, okay, fan speed, okay, that's okay. Okay, everything should be good to go. Let's go down another bit, since that SOC was very high. Okay, now if everything is correct, we boot into Windows and we push. If it's the same of the Zen3, since with the Zen3 I have a lot of experience, and the settings was more or less like this. So if it's the same, it doesn't change much, we'll be able to do things. But I don't know at this point. New CPU, I don't know what is going on, so but it seems that is okay. So since the one that follow me knows that I'm not chicken clocker, we will go down, 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 and we'll find the maximum clock possible, well, the maximum temperature possible, and then we go for the clock. So if everything goes straight, maybe we can reach 6 gigahertz in the next 5 minutes. So maybe we can do it very fast. Yes, Bullseye is a nice guy. I love that content. You have a very deep knowledge of components. It's like Wikipedia of the silicon. I really respect him for that. Take a lot of passion to learn all that stuff. So far so good. Yep. Negative 81 and everything is fine. So let's go down another bit. One thing I forgot, to set the fan to the maximum speed. My bad. So I guess I'll have to do a reboot, hoping that we don't have the cold bug, since all the smoke that goes down here is dangerous to having condensation. So we are at negative 100 degrees. You cannot see a thing. But this beta BIOS seems pretty solid so far. So I'm pretty happy with that. And strangely, everything is doing good. So okay, sorry for the noise, guys, but I must. Who doesn't like Crucial Ballistic? They're cheap, they're fast, they're nice. Overclocking, I mean, the old school overclocking is buy the cheapest component that allows you to have good performance. So the cheapest, the better. But now the times have changed a bit, but still it's good to have a good performance for a low price, since some components allow us to do it. Yes, I can do that with the Wraith Prism. The Wraith Prism is a good cooler. I really like it. So, first time that I'm overclocking this CPU with LN2, so I don't know how it's going to behave. So keep in mind that if we have some weird issue, it's part of the game. I may go to 6 GHz right now in 5 minutes, or it will end up that the stream ends here, so we don't know, and I cannot guarantee you the result, but I can guarantee you the fun. So far so good. 138. Well, usually the issue starts at 150, 170, and then we may have an issue at 180. If we pass 180, probably we can do some nice score. And we can play World of Warcraft at 6 GHz, who knows? The problem with this CPU pod is that it's like a turbo. When I hit 170, it goes like bam, down to full pot. And see, look, here it is boiling, is reaching the boiling point. look at the 160, and probably now it's going to full pot. So when the noise goes down at full pot. This is full pot. So we are now full pot, everything is working. So, well, this is half of the job. And now we push and we push. I really love when, you know, the things goes like this, and then you can go straight to the point. That is my channel motto. The good thing about this CPU pot is good for testing CPU because it's very fast, but it doesn't keep the temperature too much. So I have always to refill it a lot, especially with 8 cores. So anyway, let's go up straight to... Okay, 5.5 gigahertz. Okay. 5.6. You know that it's going to be pretty fast now. 5.7. 5.8. Still kicking. 5.9. Still kicking. 6 gigahertz and still kicking. Whew, that is going to be fun. Effective 6 gigahertz and 50. Well, I think it's a nice problem to have. Honestly, that is a nice problem to have. Since at 6 gigahertz, you can do pretty dope stuff. Yes, I will do testing World of Warcraft for sure. We are here to play World of Warcraft. We are all World of Warcraft players, don't we? So validate. Okay, extreme mode. Let's see if we can validate, because this is not so obvious. Wow, we made it. Validation at 6 gigahertz. You know that the good thing about this channel that I guarantee you the fun. Isn't that true? Type in the chat. Isn't it true that every time we do a live stream, it's going to be fun? Of course I try 6.1. Let me recharge a bit since I don't see any bubbling. And we need to be bubble. Yeah. Good to go. 6.05. Let's validate. Let me rename this. Okay, validation. This thing is fast. .1, and I'm still at 1.7 volt. I can raise the voltage again, even more if I want. But maybe is that the issue that everybody was talking about? Who knows? Maybe I have the issue. No, okay. 6.1 at 1.7 volts is a no-go. So now, if you're lucky, we can go back again. If not, it's a big mess. But we are lucky. So we have the lucky day today. So now, before we have issue, because we will have issue at some point, it's guaranteed. Let's play World of Warcraft at 6 gigahertz. Because I'm pretty sure we can do it. I don't know if it's not effective, since I'm not using BSC. Let's try benchmarking. So let's try with something that scales but is not that strong. So P fast. P fast is a nice prime as well. Prime scales a lot with frequency. So if we see frequency is effective. So let's start at 5 gigahertz and then we go up and we see if it's effective or not. This is a very short test, but it shows you the scaling in frequency. So 2.941 and we go up. Yeah, I saw the video of Elmore, but sometimes we have different bugs and I don't think it is, since I got blocked after some point. So 5.1, 2.941. If you got scales, it's okay. Yes, it's doing better. So let's do 5.5. Okay, the result scales, so we're good to go. Yeah, I don't care if, as long as the score improves, it scales and is effective. The score is improving, so 2589. Remember, 2589. 2526. So we are scaling. If we are scaling, again, it is effective. Two, 5, 2, 6. 2, 5, 2. Yeah. It's going. So it looks pretty effective to me. Yeah, it does scales. So let me save this just in case. Right, let's do 6 gigahertz. Let me save this since we are here. So I can submit to Ardorbot, and it's a good thing to do. Well, this I'm going to do that later. So World of Warcraft at 6 gigahertz. One moment. Since I don't want you to steal my account full of rubbish. Are we bottlenecked by the CPU? I don't know. Okay, so let me recharge the thermos. Okay, we have enough liquid nitrogen to do it. 1080p, all maxed out. No limits. Let's go.
What can I do for you? Smooth.
I think I'm the first World of Warcraft player that plays with a Zen3 at 6 GHz. I mean, the FPS is pretty dope. It's brutal. Look at that. 300 FPS. That is amazing. Okay, so it scales. I don't know, I didn't try the test with the i9. Since it's prepared, maybe next time we do a live, I can do that with the Intel. So we can compare extreme with extreme. I think it will be a nice video too. The two titans that, you know, head to head. Yeah, I don't know if RAM scales better, but honestly, with more RAM speed, I will have some cold bug and a lot of issues. But this seems to be pretty bad. It's a nice result. Look at that FPS. I think I have a pretty golden sample. What do you think? I think this is going to be super nice for Super PI. So I think the bad thing is I don't have the hard drive with me right now, so we will have to make the Super PI world record for AMD right now, because and it was like 5 minutes away. I feel so bad. So probably tomorrow I'm going to find that hard drive and we are going to make the world record again for the AMD Super PI. I'm pretty sure with 6 GHz we have it, it's there. So I think we have enough LN2 for a stream tomorrow and break the world record. Sounds nice to me. What do you think? Okay, I try 6.1 after this, since if we crash and whatever, we got our moments of glory and maybe we can close the stream after with a good taste in our mouth. So super dope. 239 with a maximum of 355 FPS. 350 FPS as a maximum. So okay, let's try 6.1 with more voltage. Maybe, I don't know if you can do it. So 650, still fine. Pretty nice. It's working. And 25 megahertz more. Okay. Yep. It's going. It's going. 6.1 gigahertz. World of Warcraft. This is a nice thing. I don't know if it's effective. 6.2. Maybe it's the bug, but I saw scaling, so. Yeah, I have to validate. Let's save it for another time, so let's try to see how far we can go. I don't think we can validate this much, but who knows. I had the scaling, so I don't think I have the bug, since if I see the score scaling, maybe I'm bugged, I don't know, but or maybe I have a golden sample. Maybe I have the luckiest chip in the world, I don't know. Let's see if we can... Let's go a bit down and let's try Cinebench just to see if it scales, because I don't want to, you know, be happy and then find out that it's just a bug. Okay, this one. So we can check the results. Let me open another bot page. But the score is pretty awesome. So the actual record for Cinebench is 3050. Okay, okay. So this is the score we have to beat. Thanks, Tyler. Let's push it. Well, I should run the bias and all the tweaking, but let's see now how far we can go and if it scales. So I mean, I want to know if I'm bugged or not. I'm going up, so I don't think I'm bugged. Honestly, I really want to try this test again with the new CPU pod from Unpeeling. Yes, I think I have to raise the... but the memory doesn't really... the memory is useless, but to do Cinebench I need FLCK, so I need fabric clock. So probably now I'm being bottlenecked by the fabric, since I'm very low in the fabric, but it's nice to see if I have the frequency. We can try to raise the fabric. Now I'm hitting like a wall. So maybe there's a bug that doesn't allow me to go beyond a certain frequency, an effective frequency. Let's check it. I'm using the latest beta BIOS. Yes, I think there's a bottleneck somewhere. But the test of Prime was scaling, so probably there's something weird going on. Yeah, now it's not scaling at all. I need to find something else to see if we can scale. I would like to try Super PI, but it's too long. Maybe I can do the 1 mega. Now we see some sort of scaling. Yes, I'm using the beta, the latest beta. Now there's the scaling. So after 57, after 57 gigahertz, 5750, we have a bottleneck. But I don't think it's a bug. I think it's more of a bottleneck. Let's take... but let me submit it, just for fun. Since I have here the score, we can do that. Where the hell is that? Okay, we lost one. Good. Okay, so what I want to do now is to try SPI, the 1 mega million. I don't know exactly what is that. I'm really want to know if it's a fabric bottleneck, a bug, or what. So this is pretty nice for scaling in frequency. Six, 1, and 9. Well, it's pretty nice. Much better than the previous generation. So tomorrow, if I have enough LN2, we can try the world record of AMD Super PI. But I think I'm empty, so maybe it's next week. Is this scaling? So the scaling. We try 6. Okay, 6027. 6 second 027. Okay, so yes, there's a bottleneck. So probably if I go like this, it will be the same. 6 seconds and something. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's not that it's a fake, but it's not scaling anymore. Yeah. And this is the limit. But it does scale, so I don't know what to think. Well, scaling, there's a scaling, so what I'm going to do now quickly is to raise the FCLK to see where the cold bug is, if we have one. So the next time I go directly with the best FCLK possible. Okay, it's on Dark Hero, but the Dark Hero should be the same motherboard with a better VRM section, so it doesn't really change much. Let's go for this. Finger crossed. Let's see if we can manage the full pot with this. The record of Super PI they stole from me. I was the first going below 6 minutes, and I was 5 minutes at 59 something. They are now 5 minutes 58. So they gave me 1 second or 2. But with this I can smoke that like for 1 minute, even more. So I'm pretty sure if we try the Super PI with this, we can smoke it. Okay, it seems that let's see if we can go full pot. Because the issue of FCLK is the full pot. So far so good. So let's see now if we still have the bottleneck. because I'm curious to see now with the Cinebench if it was a bug or a bottleneck or whatever. If we do have a scale now, it means that I was bottlenecked by the FCLK. So when we find the maximum FCLK, that's it. This pot is not for Cinebench. You know that the temperature from 192 is going down to 185. This is because the pot have a very small buffer. We have a bit of scaling, so let's push. They're scaling, so probably is a FCLK bottleneck. Who knows? I have to try the other sample, but I think 2000 are pretty achievable with any chip, with the right BIOS. I don't know what to think, guys. I don't know what is going on here. So it's pretty nice that I can run at 6 GHz in a bench, but there's no scaling. There's no crash either. And this is crazy. And even if the temperature is dropping, the chip is doing great. But there's no scaling. So we did scale a bit. So let's try Super PI again. Really, I don't know what to think. Actually, this is worse than before. Wow, that's something really strange. We saw scaling in World of Warcraft as well, so yeah, 6 GHz. I don't know. Let's try to raise again the FCLK. It's weird. Usually I have a lot of issue. When I go full pot with the Ryzen 2 at least, it's all about issues. And here seems strangely too easy. I mean, it's too easy, just too easy. I mean, I'm fine because, you know, but I know how to touch the voltages, yes, I have a lot of experience, but this is too easy. Sounds too good to be true. But the score is there, because I mean, Cinebench is 3003. The score is there. Okay, let's go for a crazy high FCLK. Since now everything is possible, go for it. At this point. Okay, no, that was too much. Okay, so that FCLK was too much. Let's try something in the middle ground. But I'm still surprised. Honestly, cool. Yeah, probably effective maximum is 57. So maybe it's the BIOS. Who knows? Probably it's the BIOS. Maybe we have hit the code, but yeah. Okay. Okay, let's see if we can restart now. Well, 33-22 is a nice score, by the way, but there's something fishy going on, and I don't know what to think, honestly. Since it was too easy and too strange, I'm not even happy. Okay, now we have it called bug, so I was a bit too much. Raise the FCLK to 800. So no, I not do this, I have to do this. Yeah, the CPU is a monster, but there's something that is blocking. Oh shit. I'm burning the cables for fun. Cold bug. We all love the cold boot bug. Yeah, this is a weird behavior, so I'm going to investigate about that. So yes, 5.7 more or less is the scaling, but if you look at the hardware bot chart, there's people going up at the score that I did, so they had a way to scale effectively. So yes, I think it's a BIOS issue. But still, the chips is good since I don't have any cold bug. So probably when they made a BIOS that is capable of fixing the issue, I will have a very nice CPU to play with. And we can do good stuff. I cannot reset CMOS Sub-Zero because I risk to break the motherboard, so it's not that simple. Resetting CMOS now is pretty dangerous, so I have to wait to go above ambient or something like that. Usually we have two buttons here, you can see my finger, to do the reset, to do the safe boot. The safe boot is specifically made for LN2, so they push the voltage to be able to boot. But the problem was myself, that I decided to go crazy on the FCLK. So this was caused by myself. But as I told you before, it's normal to have issues. Okay, probably now we will have a boot. Not yet. Oh yeah, this stuff happens all the time, so nothing to worry about. Asus is a nice board, yeah. It's made specifically for extreme overclocking, so. And I think somebody, some guys asked me, but how is the VRM section of the Crosshair? Did I have to say it? We can run CPU at 6 GHz and you cannot game with it? You don't even have to ask. So. Okay, so in this case I'm going to shut down everything, put back to normal mode and trying to boot again since we are now 6 degrees, so ambient temp, and take off this noisy bastard, and now I can reset the CMOS. Or maybe I have water, who knows. Yeah, I'm full of water down, so it's not that safe anymore to run the motherboard now. So I just need to see if it boots or not, so I can submit the scores just for fun, because yeah, there's some kind of bug. Not that I'm not happy with this thing, but yeah. So, well, default I just check Windows if everything is fine, and we call it a day. So yeah, I think we did run World of Warcraft 6 gigas. True or not, it was nice because we saw scaling, at least with crappy memory, because I was running 2933. Yeah, so we saw scaling even with bad memory. I did a validate at 6.2, but I mean it's pointless since I think everybody with a decent chip that doesn't have cold bug can do that. So there's no honor in it. Yes, the video will be live tomorrow. Well, the streaming, there's a replay in the streaming, so you can watch the streaming, read the chat, you can watch it in full if you want. I don't have a main rig. I use everything. Now I'm getting used to use everything. So my main rig, you know what it is? It's not here anymore. Yes. I know that you will hate me for that, but this is my main rig. MacBook Pro. So I'm an Apple guy. Anyway, this is the work PC. So it's a nice. I can play World of Warcraft too. I have a Razer external GPU. So no, anyway, I like both Intel, AMD, big chip, budget chip. I like to play with everything. So no color, no fanboys, no nothing. Just fun. Oh, that damn thing. Okay, so. No, okay, now, well, what can I say? Follow up. Yes, tomorrow for sure. Let me check if I have enough liquid nitrogen. Yeah, I think it's a lot. I think we have 15 liters or 20. So tomorrow I think I will throw another live event just to crash the AMD recording Super PI. We can do it. Effective clock or not, we can break it. So tomorrow another live stream only for LN2. Will be short. We break the record, we close it since it's tomorrow is Sunday. I have to work, I have to fix the studio again. I have to start the review of the chips because I want to make a good review for World of Warcraft. At this point, I don't know if I'm going to focus a lot in the memory scaling, but I will prove and demonstrate that is useless, that is less useless, that in RAID maybe is doing good. So I will test everything. RAID, I do a bit of scaling. My single core C2O, yeah. If I remember the model, I don't know, it was an E2200, I don't know, can't remember. I think I have a screenshot somewhere. I think I have a screenshot that when I ran that Cordio Duo with the T-Rex and the Peltier cell, and I was like at negative 10 degrees. I think I have something, I will post in Twitter or in Discord, so I will find the screenshot, I will post it. It was back in 2005. Yeah, I was approaching Sub-Zero in that years, more or less. So, yeah. Okay, well, stay tuned. I will post something on Twitter, my Discord, or the channel page. We'll do maybe a video to recap how it's doing this testing, my impression. So tomorrow we'll do more memory testing offline. Well, I have plenty of stuff to do. So yeah, if you are interested of something that is a bit out of the box, not in the usual channel, subscribe and let's stay in touch. So you will see something weird, funny, and well, let's hope that we can dig into this early version of the BIOS, if it's a bottleneck, if it's a bug, or whatever. Okay, well, thank you guys for the chat, thank you for supporting me, but wait, there's one more thing. There's one more thing. This. so we have to peel it, right? Yeah. So let's see if the peel cam is working. It's working? No. Okay, fine. I will have to fire this camera. It's not doing their job. Eski, are you still here or no? Do we have to peel it? So, okay. Let's see the difference between the two. It's already dirty, so? Well, there's not much a difference, but let's try to do it. So we can close. I think if you can hear it. The sound of the peeling memory stick. Shiny memory stick. That it will stay shiny for an hour, maybe tomorrow morning. Okay, now I have both sticks not protected from my dirty hands. See the thermal paste here? And I will scratch it. Yes, I'll try to not to scratch it. But I will scratch it sooner or later. Alright, yeah, that was fun. And really, this was a nice stream. I had a lot of fun. I'm still surprised by the weird stuff going on, and I want to find out. Well, that's it, guys. So I wish you a good night. Thanks again for supporting me. I see you very soon with weird stuff tomorrow night. So I will try to do it sooner, like 9 p.m. European time, and just is like one shot, one kill. We go down full pot, we break the record, we shut it off, and we call it a day. So it will be a quick stream just to make the record, and well, that's it. Okay. Thank you guys again, and see you tomorrow. Bye.